Thank you for coming to our congregational meeting. I'm very happy with the turnout, and so hopefully we'll have a great meeting. Let's start with a word of prayer. Pastor, please.
Lord God, our Heavenly Father, we thank you for the love that you've showered on us and the love that you've given through us. And now we ask that you pour out your Spirit on us, that the things that we do might be according to your will, and that your Holy Spirit would be the one who is guiding all the decisions that we make. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
My name is Bill Wilkinson, and I'm the chairman of the church council here at Trinity. The church council has called this meeting. Many members of our church council are here, and yes, I am going to introduce you all. So let's start here. Mike Nagel, if you'll just stand up, Mike, so everybody can see you. Jen Hallis, Elaine Pizzacaro, Diane Velsek, Dave Short, Norm Janish, Marty Sillick, Pam Nordbrock, sorry, Paula Wagner. Who did I miss? Al Petritis. How can I miss Al? So, first of all, why are we here? And our Constitution says that the congregation empowers the church council to conduct its normal day-to-day business of Trinity Lutheran Church with the Constitution, the policy-based governance documents adopted by the congregation, and other policies and regulations adopted from time to time. And under meetings, it says there shall be at least an annual congregation meeting at which the church council and the board of electors are elected. And of course, that's in May or June, right around there. That's a whole weekend. And other congregational meetings can be called at the request of the church council, the board of elders, or of 20 members who submit their subscribe request to any of the above. And the clear intention of this is to guarantee that the entire membership be included in as many decisions as is practical, and they might not be excluded if they desire to participate. And once again, I am very excited to see all these members of Trinity who desire to participate. So let's get right into the meat of this, and we're going to go start with the where we've been and where we're going to go financially.
Am I on? Okay. With that, we've published our annual report. You should have picked up a copy on the way in. If anyone wants more copies, we will be presenting this to the entire congregation next week. But what we want to do is make sure that everybody's got a chance, and frankly, we're looking for you as leaders to be able to look through this and understand a little bit of it, and then be ready to tell other people the story, because anytime you pass something out like this, folks go, I don't know what's going on here and how it's going. So we're going to have Lee explain to you as best he can what's going on with our financial status. Lee.
Two things. Number one, there's an individual here that I like to especially acknowledge. His name is Norm Janish. So if Norm can stand up and be embarrassed again. Norm helps me chair our Finance Advisory Council, along with Dave Nukakatz, Art Rausch, and Tom Lewis, and they've done a great job in keeping track of me and working with our auditors and providing guidance. So let's talk about 2013. We again had a successful audit. This is our fourth year in a row. Mueller and Company, no relation, did their work over the summer. We again received a clean opinion. That's very important. It means that we are keeping our records, keeping our returns, keeping our filings current, and our bank is satisfied, and the auditors are satisfied, and those are the two people we want to make sure we keep happy. Also should be aware that our foundation was audited for the second year in a row, and it also received a clean opinion. So we're doing the right things with your gifts. Thank you very much. In summarizing the year, we had a net improvement in our assets of $91,000. That comes from a combination of three numbers. And if you look on the statement of financial position, page, we actually had a $195,000 operating loss. That was offset by a $197,000 gift from Mrs. Lutzow, and then the $89,000 that we recognize as income through our fund accounting. As it says in the document you're looking at, we are governed by GAAP accounting, and this is a different treatment where traditional accounting matches revenue and expense. In in fund accounting, we essentially take in the revenue, recognize it, and if we spend it a year or two later, we recognize it at that point in time. So that's the sum and substance of what the year's activity is. The shortfall in our operating statement was generated by general fund, which was short of our target by $125,000. The building fund was also short about $20,000, and we had a little overrun in the school budget, so that accounts for the $195,000 of the operating deficit. When you look at the balance sheet, it shows that we have $10,159,000 of assets, mostly comprised of fixed assets, these buildings, $582,000 in cash, accounts receivable, and some prepaid items. The other side of the coin, in terms of liabilities, we have $3,908,000. That includes $2.5 million worth of our mortgage and $900,000 on our note when we renovated the property up the street, the care center. Those numbers are roughly $400 and some odd $1,000 less than where they were at the end of last year. So we made a significant reduction in our debt during the year. In terms of looking at our income and expenses, you can see that we had operating revenues of $5,927,000, expenses of $5,836,000, recognizing the $91,000 change in net assets. So we did okay. Didn't do great. We didn't do bad. We did okay. And our goal is to make sure that looking forward to the 13-14 year, which we are about $30,000 ahead on in comparison to our budget through October, we're going to make more progress this year in eliminating the operating deficits that we've experienced in the past. So, any questions? Thank you.
I'm just going to hand it right over to Pastor for the for our gifts, the breakdown of our gifts.
So a couple of great things that are going on. One of the things is if you turn to page 4, you'll see we're going to talk about debt and gifts. We are a debt-adverse congregation, and we're managing it that way. Praise God, look at this. From 2008 at 4.8, we paid off, in addition to adding some debt, adding some resource, adding some buildings, taking care of that stuff, we've got it down to $3.6 million of debt. And when we refinance this year, and how much lower is our refinance rate? 0.75% lower refinance rate, and kept the same amortization. So this is most of this, the $3.4 million is amortized over 12 years. And so this last year, now we're amortized to over 11. So hopefully, we'll keep on this schedule and keep on being a debt-adverse congregation. We're trying to make sure that we're paying as we are going. And so all the stuff that we're working on as best we can, there may be an emergency here or there that we got to take care of, but we're paying as we're going. We were very supportive of special events or special ministries and mission work. If you turn to page 5, you'll see that we have unbudgeted gifts. Now, sometimes folks will take one part of this report and go over and say, well, how does this match the other part of the report? Some of it matches and some of it doesn't because, for instance, the undesignated mission funds are just money that comes in. It doesn't hit our budget. It doesn't hit our expenses. It's just money that flows through us, as well as some of our designated missions. So we had $145,000 of undesignated missions. That went to Some of it went to the Lutheran Church in Missouri Synod. Some of it went to the Northern Illinois District. Some of it went to different things that we've been supporting across the nation and around the world. And so those are undesignated funds, and the mission ministry is responsible for distributing those. Designated missions are things that people said, I want this much money to go to Concordia River Forest. I want Concordia, Chicago. I'll get it right. I want this much money to go to Walter High School. I want this much money. If you said you designated it for one place or another, that's the $64,000. Mission trips, $17,000, and that's just the money that was given for that, not the money that people contributed individually for them to go, but money that people gave. $81,000 of designated projects, school gifts and matching funds, $206,000. That's the auction, that's the Tiger Den, that's all kinds of other things. The school endowment fund, actually that went over, there were donations that went to the endowment fund in our foundation. And so that's $22,000, $6,000 in birthday blessings, caring service ministry, $56,000, and so for a double harvest, the total gifts this last year were $265,000. So we are an incredibly generous congregation. Now, sometimes you want to be excited about this stuff and never say anything negative about giving because, frankly, we want to be, God has been so great. Did you see that pile of soup and cereal? You think about what that's 3,000 cans of soup by the time we're done, plus the cereal on top. How good God has been to us and how blessed we are. We are a congregation that's phenomenal at doing things like that. This year, this number down here, if you go down to the pie chart at the bottom, we have changed from last year at about 66, 67%, down to 62% of what we've given has gone to the general fund. Now, the general fund is meat and potatoes around here. The general fund fixes our air conditioners, cleans the floors, pays for our heat, takes care of the light, pays salaries and benefits, all those kinds of things. And so what we're doing is people are extraordinary in their giving to things that are important to them and the Lord Jesus Christ. At the same time, we're not taking care of our meat and potatoes kind of stuff. And so we're going to be encouraging. You're going to get something in the mail from us that's talking about, thinking about next year. And here's the image that I want you to get and help people with. I know how much a can of soup is, right? It's not 67 cents anymore. Yeah, you can find broth for 67 cents. But we were given $3 and $4 cans of soup for that. I know how a box of cereal is, and we gave lots for that. Praise God. If every giving unit in our congregation would just think about $5 more a month to our general fund, guess how much money that would be? Just wild guess. Just $5 more. $350,000. And the $350,000 would mean we'd be able to give, whoops, would you help our friends back there? $350,000 would mean that we were able to give raises, not have a tuition increase, help take care of a section of roof, all those kinds of things. It's a big difference around here, paying for some of the meat and potatoes kind of stuff. Not complaining. People are paid well here and taken care of. We're still at a flat salary rate for, I think, is it 5 years now that we've been in flat? And I know lots of other people have been too. So nobody's complaining. But it's just a part of our reality. And we're not quite sure what's going to happen with our cost of benefits. So it's just a little bit more from everybody makes a big difference and a big change. So that's the report on our giving for this year. It was approximately $3 million of total gifts. Now that's different from gifts to the general fund and things that go against our expenses. $3 million is budgeted and non-budgeted giving, okay? Budgeted giving goes over and against expenses. Non-budgeted giving may go to the American Bible Society. It may go to Walter High School. It may go to missions. So people are incredibly generous. Praise God and thank you. It is, we're blessed by God beyond description. So that's the summary of where we are for that.
Right into the room.
Okay? So let's talk roof. Page 6. I'm just going to be the bearer of great news. Remember when we said that roof parts we got 3 to 5 years and we needed some well, we're now 2 years into the 3 to 5 years. We're starting to see more buckets. And one of the things that when they asked our teaching staff about things that they needed, one of the things they said is roofs that don't leak. We're starting to have more and more classroom problems. And we're going to live with this. We've set aside some money, and we're raising some money. So for Double Harvest is doing that. But I can tell you that our general fund and our giving to the building fund just takes care of our mortgage. That's all it takes care of. And not even that. I mean, we're still shy a little bit. General fund has to kick in for the mortgage. So our building fund, we just got to make sure we're taking care of some of the meat and potato stuff. Our SOFR Double Harvest we've raised about $350,000 has come in or so, and we've spent about $200,000 of that on security, some on getting the community center finished off. That was part of our goals. Some on replacing some air conditioners and some other things that we said in our SOFR Double Harvest we were going to do. Now it's time to start getting serious about the roofs. So if you see here, we have our 1962 section. Now, the roof hasn't lasted since 1962, I can tell you that. You know, there are no miracles that are happening over this section, and they didn't build them better back then. We've already replaced that roof, but now it's coming time again for that. This part of the building we're in now, and all the kind of orange stuff, that's our 1962 building. Then in the purple over here, there is a 1980 section, or 1984, I'm sorry. And then we added a little bit, a couple of classrooms in 89, and then we did the 95 as the green. But even the 95 sections, that's 18 years old. How long does the roof on your house last? Yeah, 20 to 30 years. So those are the sections that we can say pretty much are our last things that we need to replace. But over the next 10 years, we've got pretty much 100,000 square feet. Right over this section is still holding up really well. Over the sanctuary, we've got 100,000 square feet that we have to do. And right now, it's $10 a square foot. Can you figure that out? So it's about $1 million of roof repair that we have to do. We got some parking lot stuff we have to do. So we've got some building things we need to take care of and continue to work on, and we're successfully doing it. We've done that. We've worked hard to pay down our debt and not go into debt to make these capital improvements. But we'll have to figure out as a congregation what we're going to do in the coming days. So that goes on. The next two, as long as I'm doing the report, this page is a pitch for our foundation, Trinity Roselle Foundation. What a blessing last year that Dorothy Lutzow remembered us with a gift. And, I don't know how many of you have joined with me, but I'm a person who has remembered Trinity Roselle in my will. Karen and I are watching over this because we have 8 graduates of this school, and this church has been a great blessing to us in that way. This has been our home for at least these 2 generations. Mom and Dad and Karen and me, our kids are kind of moved away, and I don't know if they'll ever make it back to Trinity Roselle School, but we're going to treat our school and our church as one of our kids, just because we've been so blessed. I hope you'll consider and think about that. And how many of you are here on the board from the Trinity Roselle Foundation? I know there's some of us here. So if you're on the board, if you've got a question about what you can do to help out and how you can direct a gift of some kind to our foundation, what a blessing that would be. We have some great futures. We've been working, we have approximately $15 million, 13, 14, 15 million, depends on how the stock market goes, of expectancies. That means that's the amount that people have said that they've remembered in years yet to come. I've remembered, that includes me. I hope you don't get it for a whole bunch of years. So, we've remembered Trinity Roselle in our foundation, but we're not ready to give. Yes, sir. From Here to Eternity is no, they are not separate entities. From Here to Eternity is just the title, the marketing piece of helping people figure out what they want to do with their estate plans. So it's not a separate entity. It's just like Trinity Roselle and Sofer Double Harvest. Okay, what I'm saying is in expectancies. That means that when I die in a whole bunch of years, then you're going to wait a couple of years. Then you're going to get my money. So what people have said is in the pipeline. Right now is right in there. In our assets right now. Okie doke? And then the last piece is just reminding everybody what we agreed that we were going to do. Back in 2012, we voted 535 to 12 to go ahead and do this summary here. And so this is our annual report, and Mr. Chairman, you've had my comments through it all. Thanks.
Great. And that's kind of the meat and potatoes, as Pastor's been saying, of the financial situation. Are there any questions till we get into what I'm going to call really fun stuff? Great. So the next items on the agenda are us really moving forward, and it's very exciting. So, Care Center, where are we at?
We're about 2 weeks away from it being completed. There's going to be some floor leveling done this week, and then the flooring will go in. There's 3 rooms. There's an internet cafe that will be used from after school at Lake Park till about, is Mark here? He stepped. Till about 8 o'clock at night. There'll be tutoring. That's 5 nights a week. There'll be tutoring on 2 nights a week by our wonderful tutoring staff. And that'll be in the center room. And then there's a worship area on the far left-hand side. If you're driving up there and looking towards Howard Street, it's on the far left-hand side. And that'll be used by SNX and a number of other groups that will be worshiping in that room, community meetings and Bible classes and what have you. So we're getting close, thanks to a lot of people who worked on it for us. And Todd Eichholz was our general contractor, Bob Warden, Jim Reuter, Rich Stosky, a number of people worked together to help us put together an economical program so we can do that. You'll be proud of it. We're hopeful that we're going to have what we call a soft opening sometime around the end of, beginning of December, and will be further publications about when that's going to actually take place. But it's a great opportunity in a number of different ways. It will supplement what we do from a community standpoint with our child care and our adult daycare, and we've got a number of people from the village that are interested in helping us support it. So we'll keep you informed as to what's going to take place and when it's going to take place.
Would you just add how much about that cost over there to redo it and where that money came from and where it didn't come from, I guess?
The money came from 2 different sources. It's about $300,000 project. $100,000 came from a gift that Norma Thiemann gave us, and the rest is going to be coming through from a double harvest. And there's other gifts that have been given directly to fund certain elements, whether that be furniture or audiovisual or other aspects of it. So we have a number of gifts, but those are the 2 main sources. And you'll be pleased with what you see. It'll be a great opportunity not only for Trinity, but also for the community.
So what we did was we're trying to pay for this as we go along. So the first phase is the building. There's a second phase. The second phase will include a circle drive with handicap drop-off right there, and then fixing the parking along Howard Street. Instead of being parallel, we're going to be able to be angle parked and move from 12 to 14 to 23 spaces, I think, 26 spaces along Howard Street. And so it'll be easier for others during the day. It'll be a great place for our Joy group to meet and others during the day because it'll be available. Right now, you have to park on the street and walk down. So when we have the money, we'll be ready to finish that off.
Any questions on the Care Center renovation?
What's going to happen with the current marketplace?
Right now, most of the equipment that's in the current marketplace is being transferred up there. We'll still be able to use that as a gathering room down here. So there's no programmed plans for it right now. What I'd like to see happen is I'd like to see our preschool grow again so that we need that room. But right now, we're kind of on a low end with our preschool.
Continuing with the exciting parts of the meeting today, our organ's almost ready.
I've learned more about an organ than I ever wanted to know. But I can tell you that hopefully as of Wednesday, it'll be completely voiced. It's already been completely repaired. If we get to a point where we can get some of the photos of what was done to the components of the organ that were taken to a small town in New York that I can't even pronounce. But Parsons Piano has been working on this since late February, early March. They dismantled it. If you recall seeing the facade pipes removed, all the inner pipes beyond those facade pipes, and there are thousands of them that were removed. Valves were remilled, pieces of leather were reworked. It's just an amazing process to get this put back together. And they've been here for 3 weeks completing that process. So if you've heard noise in the sanctuary that is reminiscent of an organ, that's what they've been doing. They've been voicing it as they put it back together again, because you can't voice it once you put it all back together. You got to voice it in stages. So hopefully we can have an event that will demonstrate how wonderful that instrument is. Just to give you an idea, if we bought that organ for $450,000, if we bought it today, it'd be $1.3 million. That's not only currency value, but just the price of the escalation of that instrument. So we're truly blessed to have that instrument in our midst, and we'll look forward to it being played, hopefully, Thanksgiving. Questions? Yes? As far as, it's before my time in terms of record keeping, but I believe
$250,000 was the initial gift, and then if you remember when we did in the Wayback Machine, back into the mid-'90s when we were raising money for this, you could buy a key and you can buy a pipe, and somebody bought the glockenspiel and somebody bought the Zimbelstern and somebody bought those kinds of things, so that basically it's been paid for.
Change our insurance, our organ insurance?
Actually, here's the great, beautiful news. Insurance paid $322,000. We had a $1,000 deductible, okay? And our insurance this year went down.
I did a wonderful job.
Lead
No.
No.
Nor did I walk on water. I tried that once. It just didn't work. So. But you will be pleased when you hear it playing. It's a wonderful instrument. The care that Parsons has put into it is amazing. They've been working 12-hour days to get this back in place and get it up and playing. So, yeah, unfortunate that it happened, but by the same token, that's the value of insurance.
Other questions? Hang on. We're recording this, so we need to make sure that it's on the microphone. There's a bat issue we've been dealing with for quite a while. We found the entrance again to the bats. We had sealed it off. They chewed through again. And one of the things in Illinois, you're not allowed to kill bats. And in particular, over the summer, you have to let them breed wherever they are, and then you can get rid of them. And so what you do is, over the hole that they were using to get in and out, you put a trap, like a trap door, so they can only get out and not get back in. And as soon as we were sure that all of them were out, as many as we could find, we sealed that up again. And you know, it only takes this much space for a bat to get in. You can't believe how small of an area that they need. And they've just learned to love us. You know, the old joke is, how do you get rid of all the bats in the church? Baptize and confirm them. You know, that's the joke. But actually, we can't. There's not a whole lot that we can do once they're infesting, because you have to let them. In Illinois, they're protected, so you have to let them do their stuff. It's kind of like geese, you know, except the geese aren't inside your building. So we work as best we can to keep them out.
The good news is we haven't had a sighting of that in about 5 weeks.
5 weeks without excrement.
I told you it was exciting stuff. And now we get to one of the things that has brought joy to the council recently. Just as an aside, I love working with our church council. I know I see many people that are former council members. Our church council used to be, when I started on church council 5.5 years ago, it was 24 members. We're down to 11 members, which is where we want to be right now. And very committed members of the church council. And we had a big job in front of us in finding a new and the right principal for our school. And not just, at the call committee did an unbelievable, awesome, I have no idea what words I should use, in painstakingly and giving of their time and having a template for finding a new principal and just doing that. And the call committee was made up of some staff, some teachers, some council members, some ESM members. Who did I miss? Elders, okay? And we are really, really blessed to have these people with us. And if you ever want to bend their ear and hear about some of the stuff they went through, and it was an awesome job, and my hats are off to them. They did a great job. And here's living proof of that. So our new principal, Bob Lipka.
Thank you very much. Let's have the call committee stand for a second. Call committee, could you stand up? Some of the members are here this evening. I just want to get a good look at you in case I want to get even someday. But No, they were wonderful people, and boy, did they work hard. I know they worked hard because it worked me hard in the process, and I know a lot of other people. But we appreciate your ministry and service. That was very amazing. I apologize for my voice tonight. The children and, well, the staff, they're sharing so much love and support. This is amazing to be called to Trinity in Roselle. The children have been sharing a lot of love, and they also shared a couple of viruses with me, I think the second week here. So, so not much of a voice here today. We also have some ESM members, elementary school ministry. Could you stand? We appreciate these folks too, dedicating their time to the school. Okay. Yeah, they're next on my list, and special, not last or least, but our teaching staff. Could you stand? We've got a number of you here today. I'm really impressed and thankful that you guys came and participated. These teachers are hardworking. I've been here a couple of weeks. You know the first day. These are hardworking people, hard-loving and also highly skilled. You're blessed to have the folks that you have here serving at Trinity. For me as a principal, it's an amazing opportunity to arrive with such a strong foundation in education ministry. For me, it's not, you know, the book Good to Great. This isn't about going from good to great, but it's looking at greatness and trying to define the next level we can take it to, so that we'll go from great to exceptional or perhaps unprecedented. My wife, Bonnie, is here too, and she's in the back. Your recognition, please. Boy, she's so supportive of not only accepting the call in my going from pew to desk. I know there's probably other ways to express that, but also the challenging hours here in the beginning, arriving, you know, kind of midstream and full speed ahead. Makes it a little bit more challenging. I told Pastor, I think the first day, yep, you provided an adequate challenge here. There's plenty to do. And what a wonderful place again to serve. I'd also like to mention that, well, just a little background. I guess some of you know that Bonnie and I have been here a while, almost 20 years. And I've been involved in church council a couple of terms, whatever the maximum was that we could do, and outreach ministry, and played trombone in the brass ensemble for a few years. And Bonnie's been involved in Ruth Circle and other activities here as well. So we're clearly already committed to Trinity, but we really didn't envision an opportunity to serve in ministry here. For whatever reason, this kind of came out of left field, and we think that the Lord's grabbing a hold of me by the collar and bringing me back into the fold here. You see, I served about 25 years in the Lutheran Church, beginning at Concordia, and when I graduated, my first call was to join the staff at Concordia, Chicago, and I was there about 13 years before we did a short stint in India, and I know some of you probably attended some talks that I did, or Bonnie and I did together, and maybe remember a photo exhibit a few years ago in the narthex. But I was managing a translation project for Harvard University on a Smithsonian grant. When I returned to the U.S. from that 1 year, we had folks extending a call to Walther Lutheran, and I served there a few years before I call it a promotion to executive director of Fox Valley Lutheran, where we had a wonderful time, about 7 years there. And then I got involved in public education, and I was out of the called service for about, well, I considered it a calling as well, and each day an opportunity to do ministry. But I served then Proviso Township high schools for a while, and then that was actually about 9 years, and then the Illinois Association of Regional School Superintendents. These roles actually, I feel, prepared me really well for the ministry here, in that as a transformation administrator, we were just challenged to the highest level in terms of understanding curriculum and optimum instruction, optimum effectiveness in instruction. And so I'm excited to bring some of that here and to merge and integrate some of what I learned in public education with work back in the church, and very excited about that. We'll have a parent meeting actually coming up November 17th, where we will share our 90-day plan. We've already been accomplishing some things on that plan. It's very extensive. I think the final document's about 8 pages. It's pretty ambitious, but I believe doable to continue for my orientation to the role here, and also for us to continue setting a course for the future for the school. I'm very excited to be here. I think the intensity of the work here rivals my doctoral work and dissertation work, which I thought was pretty intensive. But continuing to learn each year is a real blessing for me. Again, the staff, the students, the faculty, and those serving in leadership are a great blessing to me. And I just hope to only return equal blessing to you as a church. Thank you.
Thanks, Bob. There's only one more thing on our agenda, and that's to talk about future opportunities for Coffee with the Council. And let me tell you how that came about. The church council responsibilities and our policy-based governance say we need to communicate regularly to the stewards the pertinent activities of the church council and remain open to communication from the stewards. We've really struggled with this in having a way that we can always make sure that whatever's on your mind, we're hearing it. So our next stab at this will be sometime in January, and we're going to have Coffee with the Council. It might be I don't even know where it's going to be. It'll be somewhere here between 9 and 11 on a Sunday, and it's going to be very informal, but we're going to be any information gathering. Anything that's on your mind, we want to know about it. And so that's coming up. If you have other ways that we can regularly find out what's on your mind, you can always come to one of us. Hopefully you can see who's on the council now. Don't come to me. No, I'm just kidding. Just there's every member of the council is here today. So that's going to be exciting for us. Once again, we're struggling with that, and this is our next stab at it. So we hope you'll be here if you've got something you'd like to share with us. And if you got anything to share before that, we're always open to that too. Having said that, that's our agenda. What types of questions have we not answered that you might have come here with today?
There's, right now, our indebtedness, this $3.6 million, is basically two components. Component one is our mortgage. Mortgage on all of our, paying off the mortgage on this, the community center, everything that we've got mortgage. Component two is our line of credit on June 30th. So that's about $200,000. So it's about $3.4 million and about, well, I can tell you exactly what it is. $3.4 million and $225,000 in line of credit. Now, since then, we've paid the line of credit down so right now our line of credit is zero. Just this second.
Doesn't make sense to me. I don't know if anybody else understands. I'm not very good financially, but what you're saying to me is, let's start with 208, 4,008, 4,008.
Sure.
Now it went down 563,000. Okay, now that's part of coming down mortgage payment.
Part of that's coming down is the mortgage payment. Part of that's coming down is paying off the line of credit. And whatever our line of credit is on June 30th, whatever that is, that's what goes into these reports, because that's the end of our fiscal year. So if we pay it off in July, then there's different. So then our line of credit goes up and down based on what the line of credit needs to be.
So it's got nothing to do with the profit and loss of the congregation.
Sometimes it does. Sometimes we leave our line of credit at a certain level. This last year, the last couple of years, we paid the line of credit down to zero once a year. And that's this time, when did it happen, Lee?
Late July.
Late July. We paid it down down to zero. So right now, if you ask me this second what our indebtedness would be, it would be approximately $3.4 million. Now, depending on how we do this year in terms of income and expenses, that line of credit may go up and down. So that's why some of this is not a straight line.
I'm saying a line of credit means nothing to me, because that's just cash we didn't have in our deal. If you had to pay off some debt in order to pay down the line of credit. That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Well, we got about a $300,000 advance payment in advance, and we used that money to pay down debt. We were also given a gift recently from the foundation that went into offset some technology costs. There's a number of different sources that go to paying down debt. But as I said earlier, we had a $195,000 operating loss, and that's where the majority of the $225,000 of line of credit comes from. It's just a shortage of cash. Yeah.
Just clarifying with this, particularly in the 08 to 09, would there have been sales of property that contributed to taking that down?
My memory is not, I don't remember exactly what caused that.
There were some properties that were sold, and we used the funding to pay for the renovation up the street and to help acquire that property. We sold the donated care center that was down the street north on Rush that generated about $1 million, and then the rest of it was funded through various other sale of homes that we had. So you're looking at a year-to-year measurement. So in essence, $4,806,000 at the end of 2008 versus $3,628,000. So we're down $1,180,000. So we've made very good progress. And from a financial planning perspective, paying off that much debt in that period of a short time is well done. When you consider that we had operating losses for 2 out of the last 4 years. So, any other questions? Yeah, Joe.
That's a tough question for our new principal or whatever, but what are the projections for student enrollment in the school over the next, say, whatever years to maintain the sustainability of it here at Trinity?
Not to pass the buck, Pastor, but it's too soon on the job.
Okay. In the next couple of years, in Roselle itself, in our environs, there's going to be more people over 65 than under 18. We're trying to figure this out, and if you do a dot map of our current school, because I just did one, it's way larger of an area than you'd ever believe. We have folks coming in all the way out to the river, frankly, and beyond, and from the city coming out here. We talk about where parents are living. We're working hard to do this. We've had a kind of a flux. We were down in the 270s and 280s. We went up to 308. Now we were back down to the 270s, 80s. Now this year we're 257, and right now 255, K through 8. So where it's going, we're doing the best that we can to both encourage to be competitive, to be open, to be flexible, and to be there marketing to the kids in our community. What happens is we change. We have a staffing to the right. We right size our faculty and school, and so we can have a school of whatever size it is. But there comes a time where it gets to be so small it's really untenable. We're not there yet. So we're working hard to grow. I couldn't tell you what a projection would be. Frankly, we haven't set those goals up.
Just add, though, that it is included in a 90-day plan to look at birth rates and trends in the other parochial schools in the area, and decision-making criteria, and do a very thorough market analysis, and also to up our recruitment efforts, particularly in other churches and the public system. And then also, I neglected to mention that, and I can't take credit for this at all, but while there, I think it was mentioned, deficit budgets in the school, perhaps for the last 2 years significantly, this year is a balanced budget for the school. I also, when I said your teachers are hardworking, hard-loving, and highly skilled, they're also in a pay freeze. And they've been there for at least several years, and so they're making a pretty big commitment here as well to help this ministry to go forward.
If you just look at the baptismal rate, how many kids we've been baptizing as a congregation, we are less prolific than we were in the past. So there were years where we were baptizing. This is going to be a crazy number. We had 120, 130 kids we were baptizing. Now we're baptizing 60-something. That's a huge change in our congregation.
Thanks. So I'm a parent of a fifth grader and a first grader, and I'll just say to some of my son's current teachers, we're absolutely thrilled with the school here. We're really happy with the education that they're getting. I'm looking at this first grade class as an additional like outreach kind of ministry example. I'm really happy that class, and even in the kindergarten class, they've got a lot of younger siblings. So it's on our primary school teachers to do a good job of not only teaching our kids, but making those families like really proud of what we do here, so they send the rest of their family here. So but that just underscores, I think, the importance of our teachers and how critical they are to the ministry of this whole church. So that the school is a big part of the engine that brings congregation people to here. Something I was just, but when my real question was on the back of the sheet. I know way near the bottom, it's talking about keeping ourselves honest to the vision. We will annually evaluate our ministries, prune ministries to be more fruitful, and plant new programs in our midst. In a future setting like this, I would love to have a readout of where we're at on all these strategic goals as we're halfway through this set of plans.
I was on elementary school ministry for 12 years, and it was a true blessing in my life, and I had 4 kids go through here. At the time, it was the custom to have the staff members who had children here, both the school and the church faculty. They would only get the discounts that everybody would get if they had 2, 3, or 4 kids there. Is that still the custom, that the people who work here and have children here get only the discounts that the regular staff or the regular congregation gets?
There is no difference between our regular congregation and I sent my kids through here paying what members pay. Same thing. We're doing the same thing.
This is just a curiosity question. Back to the care center. You told us what the current phase was had cost. Just for our future, when we enter into the second phase, what will you explained what was involved. What would the cost of that be, and how much of that will be picked up by SOA Double Harvest?
The 2 parking areas will be about $125,000 to $140,000, depending upon what the village charges us for curb cuts and a few other, and how enhanced we make it, whether or not we got to put a retaining wall in or do some other facilities or do some other modifications. rebanking that sidewalk that's out. Right now, it's too steep for handicap access, so we're looking into what that would cost, and but $125,000 to $140,000, and we would expect that most of that would be picked up by SOFR Double Harvest as we go forward. So. Other questions? Yes. May look into, but we sold all those houses, used the funds. Some we gained money on, some we lost a little bit on in money because of the downturn in the housing market. But we are free of the houses. The two properties that we own are this one and the one on Maple Street. That's the sum total. We have 9-point-something acres here, 100,000 square feet under roof. And that building is about 27,000 square feet under roof. The daycare center operates from 6 a.m. to what is now 7 p.m. As parents are needing to have their children taken care of longer. And it'll soon be operating till probably at least 8, if not 9 p.m., depending upon how we finalize the programs that we will be operated at the care center. So, and this building is open 24 hours a day from what Tom Troike tells me, so. For bats, yes, yeah. I think it starts at 6 a.m. also, and we've got basketball teams that come in here at 9, and some play at 10, and if you see Tom, tell him thank you, because he does a great job. He and Gary Maher and a few other people that he has working part-time to maintain this in the way he has. He doesn't get enough thanks.
What is the condition of the two daycare centers? I know at one point they were doing so well that they were able to cover more of their expenses over there. How is that going?
Frankly, what we do is we flex those, the same kind of thing. We've closed some of the rooms because the daycare center has moved down in terms of the number of children. And so what we do is we open rooms and close them, and we bring on staff. Right now, they are, it's the same thing. The daycare, the child daycare basically pays for the upkeep on that building and helps out the adult daycare program. It's not always making money. It's not always breaking even. Usually it costs us something. But in the years past, when it was here and down at the care center down there, not the community center, when it was down here at the firehouse, some years that would cost us $50,000 for that program. Now, basically, the adult daycare is pretty much taken care of by the profits from the child daycare.
Is there a plan in the works for raises for the teachers?
We would not do raises for the teachers separate from raises from the entire staff. So right now, that would really be dependent on because everybody's on the same pay scale. So right now, that would be dependent on how we do this year. We had a deficit last year, and so we're not doing raises this year. We're going to see how things go for this year, how we do with recruitment. All that's kind of dependent. And the next opportunity we would have would be next July.
What if we tabled the parking lot on Howard?
The church council will figure what they're going to, we'll bring all the different options, and the church council will determine what we're going to do.
I'd like to thank Dr. Lipka for coming on and taking over the school. I'm on this foundation board, and I served on the school marketing committee for 2 years, which was a very challenging undertaking, and I wasn't satisfied with our results, but I think we had a lot of people with good hearts who meant well. But what I'd like to say is that I agree with Pastor. The school's going to hit a point, or could hit a point, it's not going to, where it would not be sustainable. And I really wish him well. I want to thank the teachers for going, 5 years without pay raises is incredible. And that I would like to ask that I'm sure he's looked at this, that we need to grow this school, because then we will be able to pay the teachers and the staff, but in this case, especially the teachers, to get the best teachers we can. Otherwise, as in any organization, we'll lose the people we want to keep and keep the people we won't be able to keep the high-performing people. Again, I'm not telling him anything he doesn't know, but it was just very challenging to spend 2 years on this, and now it already, when he says that they're doing some of the plans he's working on, even though it's early, is very good to hear. So I want to thank him for that. I did have one question on the community center. I'm curious why we decided to, or how the decision was taken to move forward with working on that, as opposed to, say, the roof. I know that's not as exciting to work on. I put a new roof in, or a new door handles or something. But why we went with that instead of something where it sounds like we have a very pressing need with the roof. Thank you.
As we go through, it is a council decision as we work through the recommendations. We have a pressing need in youth ministry. It's growing. It's expanded beyond its own space. It was ready to be finished off. We need it for adult education during the day because we've run out of spaces down here. The security issue that we have, now it's not that our seniors coming into our Family Life Center for programs during the day are a danger to our children. However, we do have security that is breached every time that we have groups coming in during the day. So we're thinking about kids. We're thinking about the program, the growth of the program. This has gone from, frankly, just a few kids now in the high school. They're now getting 40, 50 kids sometimes for Sunday night events. It's just we're ready for it, and we'd planned to do this for years. Frankly, when we made a decision to go with that, the roof wasn't leaking as bad as it is now. And so we do have to balance this out, and we together will figure out what God's direction for this is. And just, Tom, I want to encourage you, whenever we talk about staff pay around here, it's everybody. It's not just we have a staff that's incredibly dedicated, and frankly, for Lutherans' pay, we're being paid okay. We're not the top, but we're far from the bottom. We're being paid an adequate wage. A lot of people in our community have gotten wage freezes, lots of them in our congregation, and so it's not abnormal that we wouldn't do the same thing here. And from the senior pastor to the janitor, we're all on the same scale. And all of us have just been dedicated and working hard, and we continue to work hard no matter what.
Any other comments, questions? Mr. Zolik.
I'm Richard Zellick. I'm in the choir at Emmanuel and at Trinity. I used to be at Emmanuel. Oh, well. I lost my train of thought. As you know, this past summer we lost Gary Lichtart as our choir director, and the choir loved him. We enjoyed being around him. We had a great time. But we are truly blessed to have Andrew Schemp as our music director in this church. I think he's really going to be a blessing. I myself, I've learned so much being with Andrew, and I think the whole church is really going to grow with him. And we are always looking for members, trombone players, and
just thankful. I don't know who was in charge of finding him, but he is really going to be a blessing to us.
Last call.
Well, thank you very much. I want everyone here and who watches this later to understand that the Church Council wants your feedback. You can tell that there's a lot of decisions that have to be made. There's a lot of information that we have that goes into making those decisions, and we'd like your feedback. The webpage has a link where you can send a message to us right away. You know all of us now, hopefully, and I hope to see you all if you have burning issues, at Coffee with the Council in January. Thank you very much for coming today. Appreciate it.